Hello, folks, and welcome to the show. So today we're going to be talking about my top 10 fragrances of all time. If you're watching this recording, it's part of a live stream. If you want to watch my live streams, you can become a channel member where the recordings of the live streams do stay up. I don't normally leave them up anymore much after I do them. Okay, folks, so it's going to be my current just top 10, my favorite 10 fragrances in my collection. Before I do that, don't forget that if you're looking for fragrance samples, my recommended UK-based fragrance sampling site is Fragrance Samples UK, where they have a stunning range of designer and niche fragrances. I've got a code for you, as you can see across the bottom of the screen there. The code Mr. Smelly 10 gets you 10% off across the site. My recommended USA-based fragrance sampling site is the Fragrance Decant Boutique. That's decantboutique.com. The same code Mr. Smelly 10 works for you there, and they have a huge range of scents. Highly recommended, both of those sites, and I'm really proud and honored to be associated with them. Okay, so let's get cracking. 10 fragrances. Let me know in the comments down below. If you're watching on the live chat, let me know what your favorites are, whether it's your favorite 10. I'd love to hear a top 10. I will read some of these out if you hit us with those, and top 5s or top 3 or just your top 1 is great. Okay. No apologies for the fact that I haven't tried to be all things to all people here. You know, I haven't got a blue fragrance. I didn't think, oh, I must have one oud fragrance. I must have one gourmand. There's loads of in the same category because it's just honestly what I like the best, and that's, I think, a good way to do it, at least for my channel. So let's go through it. Let's rattle them off. Okay, I'll do no particular order because it would be rather arbitrary. I don't know which one is my real favorite. Anyhow, I'll allow myself one from my own brand. Okay, and for the time being, right now, the one that I just keep coming back to and love so much, I think it's almost the underrated gem of our own line, Naughton and Wilson, is Bon Viveur. So this was our second release. It's a beautiful citrus aromatic stroke chypre fragrance. Absolutely amazing freshness in this one. It's got lemon verbena. We've got a gin accord in there. There's quite a lot of vetiver in there. It's a little bit spicy. I think that there's lavender in there too. I should know this off by heart. It's been a while since I listed the notes for this one. It's a really beautiful, unique citrusy fragrance with quite a lot of depth and character. So it's not an out and out kind of Neroli Portofino or Acqua di Parma, Essenza or Colonia type fragrance. It's a little bit more complex or at least a little bit more deep notes and not just very soapy and refreshing. It's really a fascinating and amazing fragrance. I'm so proud, and I really wear this almost as a signature scent. I've got through quite a bit, and I've got some decants from when we were first looking at it. I absolutely love Bon Viveur. So from our brand, love all of them. There's not a lot in it, but for me, yeah, Bon Viveur, really great. And of course, yeah, I am lucky to have a fragrance brand with my name on it, so I think it's fair that I put that one in. So Bon Viveur, Naughton and Wilson. Go to naughtonandwilson.com. By the way, we do have a summer special offer. If you want to buy Gravitas Pour Homme, you can get that one for just £70 posted at the moment, or $90 posted if you're in the USA. Okay, next up then, another citrusy one. This was kind of the citrus aromatic that started it all for me in a way. It was only my third ever niche fragrance purchase. So I've been talking about it since all the way back in 2016. And it's Acqua di Parma's Colonia Essenza. I have to have one out and out citrusy type fragrance that's soapy and clean, a summer fragrance. And this is just a spectacular example of that. It was 2011 release. It has a fantastic melange of notes, as Max 40 would say. Of course, there's bergamot. There is a Bulgarian rose note, my favorite kind of rose. All kinds of complex herbal accords in there. And it's just beautiful. It's sort of a little bit in the vein of things like Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford, but it's sort of an enriched, enhanced version. I find that the staying power on this one is really good. People tend to really like it. Someone once did tell me that it smells like fly spray, but that's because some fly sprays do smell citrusy. Flies don't like citrus, and that's another reason to wear a citrus aromatic fragrance. Really beautiful. So many great ones from Acqua di Parma. This remains my absolute favorite. So that is my second pick. What do you think about that one? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's move swiftly on then. There are some vintage ones that you can't get anymore. Forgive me, but in some cases the modern version is still out there, and in most cases the modern versions don't suck, but you would be better with the vintage. I had to, and I thought about a lot of these powerhouses. I could have put Antaeus by Chanel. I could have put other things, but I'm going to go with vintage KOUROS. KOUROS from Yves Saint Laurent. It is such a unique and distinctive fragrance. It is so powerful. This is an aftershave splash from the mid-90s. It is an absolute everything but the kitchen sink note listing, so I won't bother with that. Although, well, there is honey, there's civet, it's musky, it's animalic. I think the famous perfume critic Luca Turin once described it as reminiscent of other people's dirty bed sheets after a sex romp, or something like that. I don't think he said sex romp, but I like that idea, okay? So it's only time I'm going to be smelling that in my own life, so, well, other people's or my own. So KOUROS, 1981, absolute fantastic, soapy, but right, it is soapy, but it's also dirty at the same time. It's very rugged, it's very masculine, and I think it's absolutely superb. The modern version doesn't quite have the oomph. You need to get any version with the silver shoulders on the bottle if you find them on eBay, and they're all really good. If you want to get really geeky, you can go, and there's a site called Raiders of the Lost Scent that would tell you exactly which era is which, from extremely pedantic details on the bottom of the bottle. I won't go into those right now. Okay, moving on then. Yeah, okay, let's get out of the way. The one that you all know will be here. So Bois de Portugal from Creed, my favourite Creed fragrance, and I guess still my favourite of all time. So bergamot, sandalwood, vetiver, lavender. It has this real old money smell. It is green, it is bitter, it's grown up. It is, to me, it has a kind of warming, comforting, masculine aura about it. It smells of old money. It smells reassuring. It smells of somebody who doesn't really have to prove anything. How can a smell say that? But I don't know. Somehow it does. Apparently Frank Sinatra used to wear it. Don't know if that's true, but it sort of makes sense. Think of Frank Sinatra looking extremely dapper and handsome in his prime, and think of the smell of Bois de Portugal. It is an amazing fragrance and really, really classy juice. I've found many fragrances that excite me since I discovered this one. Nothing outright surpasses it, though. So Bois de Portugal from the House of Creed. We shall progress forwards. Okay. One that you can still buy. The modern formula is fantastic with better contrast. So we have Egoist from Chanel. I've picked one Chanel. There could have been so many. Chanel Pour Monsieur is fantastic, as is the EDP version of that, as is Antaeus from Chanel. But I think really the greatest, in my humble opinion, of all their fragrances, 1990 release, Parfum Jacques Polge, regarded as one of the best sandalwood fragrances ever made. There's a little bit of mandarin orange in the opening of this one. It has a certain freshness in there, but a really rich, creamy sandalwood thing, and a sort of warming, ambery feel, and a subtle spiciness. It's absolutely amazing. Go to your department store, try this one today. It's absolutely stunning juice, and it is Chanel's Antaeus. You can still buy it, and I don't think Chanel really massacre their fragrances with the reformulations, which will inevitably have happened over the years. Mine is an older bottle. Benjamin Morris, thank you so much for the member comment. Half a bottle left of Bon Viveur and Essenza. I like your style so much. Thank you so much. And a great comment there. Scent of the day, Le Barbier de Tangier. That is from MDCI Parfums. Very good, underrated fragrance from that brand. Love it. And we have a very generous super chat. Thank you so much. The Ben with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Favorite perfumes, Reflection Man by Amouage and Risala, by the brand Arabian Oud. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'll have to look out for the Risala one. Amouage, Reflection Man, of course, great. And some people compare it a little bit to Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Mal. It has a character all of its own, though, I think, but there is a similarity, no doubt. Thank you so much, the Ben, with a very generous $4.99 super chat. Keep the super chats coming if you'd like to be involved. Next up, Monsieur de Givenchy. Very few people would include this in their top 10 of all time. This is the modern reissue from the Parfums Mythique series. I think they've changed the bottle again. Very fortunate to have a vintage bottle there, which I have in a displayer somewhere else. And I've got through a couple of vintage bottles of this one and a whole 100 ml of the reformulation. Reformulation lacks a little bit of the depth and three-dimensionalness of the original, but it's still really nice. So Monsieur de Givenchy, it's a cheaper fragrance, citrus-leaning, in my humble opinion, and maybe I think their answer to or equivalent of Chanel's Pour Monsieur. This one came out way back in 1959. Beautiful green citrusy accords, Hesperidic accords as they sometimes called them back then, and herbal tones and crisp white woods. Very, very dapper, gentlemanly fragrance, and I'm probably rare in that I slightly prefer it to the original Chanel Pour Monsieur. So let me know if you've tried Monsieur de Givenchy. You can still get it. Vintage one is absolutely amazing if you're lucky enough to find a bottle for a reasonable price online. Don't hesitate. Okay, moving on. We're going to go with one more Creed. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm putting two Creeds in the list. Green Irish Tweed is amazing. I have a very modern bottle, and a very kind lady bought this to me. Thank you so much. If you see this video, I really appreciate that. And it was a very nice gift. But the main thing for you guys to know is that this is still a stunning fragrance in the modern formula. It has lemon verbena in the opening, violet leaf. There's a bit of sandalwood in there. Some people list peppermint. You would obviously pick it out. It's a very grassy green fragrance, almost a slightly aristocratic air about this one. It has been commonly compared to Davidoff's Cool Water. Both have the same perfumer, Pierre Bourdon. This one came out in 1985. That one in 1988. This one is a higher quality rendering of the same idea. Absolutely stunning stuff. Fresher than Bois de Portugal. more of an all year round type fragrance, could be a signature scent. It's really classy stuff. I get great performance on the modern bottle, and I also think the smell still smells amazing. I did have an older one. Here's a warning to you all. Use your fragrances up. I used to, I'll save that for special occasions. This one's turned now in the bottle. So this is the old design of bottle. I can't use it anymore. So use your fragrances or lose them. Use it or lose it. Okay. Next up, apologies. You may have trouble getting one, but I've had so many bottles. If you want it, you can get it. Dolce & Gabbana Eau de Toilette, the Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, 1994. You need the bottle with the sticker on it. Any one of those will be the Euro Italia version made in Italy. They've changed it a bit since then. It's not quite as good, and it's still good, but it wouldn't be in my top 10 except for the vintage formula. Absolutely amazing. Again, it's citrusy, it's bright, it's clean. It has a wonderful tobacco accord, a green tobacco leaf accord in there, mixed in with lavender, all kinds of these. I love the citruses combined with herbal accords, giving a real nice Mediterranean chic vibe. Just 90s happiness and optimism and nostalgia in the bottle. Every woman that I've ever worn this with, and there aren't many because they rarely speak to me, but everyone has really, really liked it. It gets massively positive feedback from women, and generally, you know, if you try Aventus and this is, you know, the famous Aventus, they're always nonplussed. So for me, Dolce & Gabbana Eau de Toilette is an outstanding phrase. It's probably my top 2 or 3. It really is that. It's become a signature scent. I've got through like 5 bottles. I actually really spray this a lot, more than Bois de Portugal, because even if I'm just going out on a summer night or down to the shops or something, it fits that situation. Whereas Bois de Portugal could be a little bit too grand, you know. We must be nearly at the end. Rive Gauche Pour Homme, Yves Saint Laurent, the ultimate barbershop fragrance. So again, it's an aromatic fougere, but so different to some of the other aromatic fougères. This is wonderful. Again, it's got lavender in there, a little twist of anise. It was when Tom Ford was the creative director over at Yves Saint Laurent. And many people say that it took cues from Azzaro Pour Homme from 1978. I do believe that's true. To me, I really prefer it. I do have an older bottle of Azzaro Pour Homme. It's crisper, it's smoother, has some of the rough edges trimmed off. I know it's a cliche. We all say this about this fragrance, but it's kind of true. It smells like a really amazing shaving foam. It's a real dad smell. It's reassuring. It's masculine. Again, the small number of women who will give me the time of day and have allowed me to make them smell this have surprisingly, really, because you might think, oh, it's old fashioned and maybe people don't like it. People really like this. So Rive Gauche Pour Homme, really hard to find now. There's a reissue in a cubic bottle that smells almost the same. This is the more sought after one. I will say that DOLCE Fragrances River Fougere by DOLCE Fragrances, DUA, smells almost, it actually just smells identical. Okay. And I do have that, and I don't have any big working relationship with them or incentive to say that, but I will say that it's highly recommended. So Rive Gauche Pour Homme, Yves Saint Laurent. I think we only have one more left. So finally, sorry if this is a predictable list, but there you go. So many, obviously there are so many that you could say, how could you leave that out? How could you, and you're right. So it needs to be a top 20 or 50. But the point is, these, after hours of careful thinking, or at least 5 minutes, these are the 10 I think are my favorite. Eau Sauvage from Dior. Again, you need to kind of get the modern one's still good, but that's a 9 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. The Edmund Rudnitska composition from 1966. Fantastic opening of bergamot. Beautiful rosemary accord in there. Jasmine with a hedione note. It was one of the first fragrances to use hedione, a fragrance chemical that apparently triggers the part of a woman's brain responsible for sexual attraction, a part of their brain I think we will all be interested in connecting with. So it is really good stuff. I can't say it's directly had that effect for me, but it is really, really nice. Again, I've got through 4 or 5 vintage bottles, and it's excellent. It's a bit hard to spot what is a vintage one, because the modern one kind of looks almost exactly the same. If you find one with the orange box on eBay, then you know it will be a vintage version. And there's also the one with a different, more elongated shape, which will be vintage. Other than that, good luck. But still great in the modern formula, but outstandingly amazing, good performance, and just absolutely a stunner, a classic of all time. Many fragrances please me as much. None pleases me particularly more than Eau Sauvage. So we will leave it there, guys, for this section of the video. Stay tuned if you're watching the live stream live. But for now, folks, I will say to the recorded audience watching this back, if you would like to see the full live stream, then become a channel member where the live stream will still be up. And I will wish you a fond farewell. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my current top 10. Have a great evening or day wherever you are watching this. Remember, whatever we're doing in life, let's project. And although sometimes life really can suck, at least we can always smell good. Bye-bye.